Have you ever stopped to think about the invisible forces that might be shaping your day? I mean, really shaping what you see, what you click on, maybe even how you feel when you're online. Welcome. Today we're digging into a really thought-provoking source called digital slavery, AI's war on reality and spirit.
Mm.
Our mission here is to pull out the key insights on, well, what AI can actually do now, its potential for control, and also this unique spiritual or maybe existential angle the source brings up. We want to help you kind of make sense of this tangled web.
Yeah, and it's definitely tangled. The source really emphasizes that the stuff AI, it's moving faster than we can keep up with, faster than laws, faster than ethics committees, faster than, frankly, our own grasp of what it all means long term. And it's not just future gazing, right? The core argument is about what's happening now, how it's already messing with our sense of what's real.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What is AI actually doing right now, according to the source? Let's get concrete. It mentions things like AI tools writing complex software code, passing law exams, which is pretty wild, diagnosing illnesses, even creating totally realistic human faces out of thin air, people who just don't exist.
Yeah, these aren't hypotheticals.
Right. Like the source points out, in 2024, ChatGPT passed the bar exam. Just think about that for a
These
second.
implications are huge.
And then there's Google's Gemini. It showed it could summarize news, but with a slant, depending on the political input it got.
That's a big one. Bias baked right in.
Exactly. And then you look at China, the source mentions their use of AI facial recognition. We're talking over 600 million cameras, real-time tracking.
It's massive surveillance infrastructure.
And even closer to home, think about the platforms you use every single day. Amazon, Meta, TikTok. The source says they're all using AI to carefully curate what you see, what you end up believing, maybe even your emotional responses.
And this leads to, I think, the most critical claim in the source material. It's this idea that AI has moved beyond just predicting what you might do based on your past behavior.
Okay.
It's now actively engineering your behavior. It's shaping it.
Engineering it? How so?
Well, the source argues that while you probably feel like you're making free choices online clicking this, buying that the AI is subtly steering you, guiding your choices towards outcomes someone else decided on. It's a shift from just watching to manipulating.
So the feeling of control is maybe an illusion?
That's the argument, that the agency isn't quite what we think it is in these digital spaces.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Just how deeply embedded are these systems in our, moment-to-moment online life? Which brings us to another point the source really hammers home, this idea that AI is somehow neutral.
Right, the neutrality myth.
Yeah. The source argues pretty forcefully that since AI is trained by humans on data selected by humans, well, it reflects human agendas. It's driven by money, by power structures.
Absolutely. It inherits our biases, our goals.
So instead of getting some kind of objective, universal truth online, we're getting personalized truths, tailored realities.
Exactly. And the danger there, the source suggests, is that our shared sense of reality starts to fray. If we're all seeing different things presented as fact, how do we even have a common conversation?
That's a scary thought.
It is. And the source gives some pretty specific examples of how this influence works on an individual level, like AI that can track your facial microexpressions through your camera. Tiny little muscle movements.
To do what?
To guess your emotions in real time. And then that emotional data gets used to sell you stuff, maybe political ads, tailored to that fleeting emotion.
Wow.
Then there are schools using AI to watch students' eyes during online tests to detect cheating, supposedly.
Okay, I can see the justification there, maybe, but it's still monitoring.
It's monitoring. And banks using AI to flag people as a financial risk based not just on credit score, but on what they post on social media.
Seriously.
Based on posts.
That's what the source details.
Yeah.
And it ties all this together with this really potent analogy.
It says, just like ancient Egypt gave Israel tools, but then demanded bricks, the system gives you tools, but demands your obedience.
Huh. Tools for bricks.
Yeah. The idea is that all these amazing digital tools, this convenience, it's not free. The hidden cost, the source argues, is your conformity, your obedience to the system's logic.
So the convenience isn't just convenient, it comes with strings attached. Possibly invisible strings that demand compliance.
That's the implication, yeah. A hidden cost of control.
Okay, so if our choices are being guided, maybe even engineered, what happens when we can't even tell what's real anymore? This leads into the whole deepfake discussion in the source, right?
Yeah.
The lines blurring between real and fake.
Exactly. And it's not theoretical.
No. I mean, remember that picture of the Pope in the big white puffer jacket? That was 2023.
Oh, yeah, that went everywhere.
Totally viral, and loads of people thought it was absolutely real. It was a deep fake.
A pretty harmless one, ultimately, but it shows the potential.
But then it gets less harmless. The source mentions 2024 AI-generated political videos in Slovakia, in India. Videos that looked real, sounded real, and apparently actually swayed voters.
Yeah, that's where it gets really concerning, when fabricated content directly impacts democratic processes.
What does happen when people genuinely can't tell the difference anymore? What are the stakes?
Well, this is where the source makes a pretty dramatic connection. It brings in a biblical quote.
Oh, which one?
Matthew 24:24. It talks about false Christs and false prophets appearing, doing great signs and wonders to deceive, potentially even deceiving the elect.
Okay, and the source connects this to AI.
It interprets this passage through the lens of AI, calling it machine-powered prophecy. The idea is that AI is now capable of creating these incredibly convincing deceptions, these great signs and wonders, on a scale never before possible. It's like a modern form of false prophecy powered by algorithms.
Machine-powered prophecy. That's quite a phrase.
It is. And the source points out, look, we live in a world that loves speed, loves emotion, loves things going viral. But truth often takes time. It requires thought, nuance. It doesn't usually go viral like a funny cat video or a fake political attack ad.
So truth gets drowned out in the noise.
It risks being silenced, yeah, because it can't compete in an attention economy optimized for the fast and the furious.
That really underscores the challenge we face just trying to figure out what's true online. But the source goes even deeper, doesn't it? It's not just about information or truth. It brings up something more fundamental.
It does. It shifts to what it sees as the ultimate stake. Our very image, our identity.
How so?
It starts with a theological foundation, referencing Genesis, the idea that humans were created in the image of the Most High.
Okay, a core concept in Judeo-Christian thought.
Right. But the source then argues something startling, that AI is now effectively training us to reflect it.
Training us to reflect the machine.
Yes. The argument is when you're constantly fed what to think, what to see, what opinions to hold, what to say, all by an algorithm, you gradually stop reflecting that original divine image. Instead, you start mirroring the system. You become an echo of the machine.
And the source calls that
Manipulation, certainly. But it goes further, calling it a form of idolatry, worshiping the creation rather than the creator.
Wow, okay. That's strong language.
It is. It frames this whole situation as a war on image, on identity, a battle for who or what we reflect.
A war on identity.
And again, it connects this to Scripture, this time Revelation 13. It warns about an image of the beast, an image that speaks, moves, and crucially causes people to worship.
And the source sees AI potentially fulfilling that.
It interprets that passage as a warning, not just about a literal statue, but about a powerful, persuasive system or image that conditions people. It suggests that what feels like technological convenience might actually be this kind of conditioning, subtly shaping us to conform to or even worship the system itself.
So the question becomes, when our digital self, the one reflected back to us by algorithms, starts to feel more real, are we losing something essential, our authentic self?
That's precisely the concern raised. Are we sacrificing authenticity for algorithmic approval?
What does that mean for you, listening right now, for your own sense of who you are in the digital age? It's a lot to process.
It really is.
So, faced with all this,
Yeah.
this potential for manipulation, for blurring reality, for this identity crisis, what's the response? Does the source offer any path forward?
It does. It lays out a 5-point strategy. It calls it the remnants response, framing it as a way to maintain agency.
Okay, let's hear it. What's point one?
First, discernment must be stronger than desire. The idea is AI plays on our immediate wants, our emotions, but we need to connect with something deeper, what the source calls the soul, guided by the spirit.
So think deeper than just clicking the shiny object. Got it. Number two.
Disconnect regularly. Basically, fast from the algorithm, step away from the noise. Because, the source argues, silence makes truth louder. You need that quiet space to hear clearly, away from the constant digital chatter.
Makes sense. Find signal in the silence. Third point.
Anchor identity in the word, not in your feed. This ties back to the identity point. Your value isn't based on likes or views or followers.
But on.
According to the source, on obedience to God, on alignment with that deeper spiritual reality, not the fleeting metrics of social media.
Okay. Value beyond the algorithm. What's number four?
Test every image. Be critical. Ask yourself, who created this? What agenda might they have? What do they want me to believe or feel? Don't just passively consume.
Active discernment for everything we see online. Critical thinking. And the last one, number 5.
Walk in power, not paranoia. This is important. The source isn't aiming for fear.
Right.
It's about being filled with what it calls fire, the spirit of the Most High, described as the greatest intelligence in the universe. It's about spiritual empowerment, not just reacting defensively.
Power, not paranoia. Fire, not fear. That's a strong finish to the strategy.
Yeah, it really reframes the response. It's not about hiding from AI, but about standing firm in a different kind of strength, a different source of identity and intelligence. It's practical wisdom for navigating this complex time.
Absolutely. So recapping this AI's war on reality and spirit, we've seen how the source highlights AI's current power, its potential to manipulate not just information, but behavior, the way it challenges our grasp on reality through things like deepfakes, and raises these profound questions about freedom and even our fundamental identity, our image.
It's a stark warning, but also, as we just discussed, contains a call to conscious action.
Definitely.
Which leads me to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, drawing from the source's core idea. If the source is right, if the world is, in a sense, being reprogrammed by these powerful AI systems, then what does it mean for you personally to break the code?
Break the code.
Yeah. How can you take these principles, discernment, disconnection, anchoring your identity somewhere deeper, and actually apply them? How do you maintain your unique human perspective, your agency, in the face of this algorithmic tide?
That's a powerful question to sit with. How do you break the code in your own life?
Well,
We really encourage you to keep mulling over these ideas, maybe apply some of these insights. Thanks for joining us